good morning to you, Grenada, and the rest of the world. Thank you very much for joining us for this midweek edition of Gudday Grenada. It's a nice morning here in the city. We've been having quite a bit of rain. Nothing torrential, nothing heavy. But yeah, off and on, and every once in a while the sun peeks through there, so hopefully we're going to have a nice day here in the Spice Isle. This is the 9th day of October 2019. And it's nice to see you guys. I see that Hazel has decided she ain't going to be kicked out of first place for whatever reason. She's back on top this morning, first to log in, and then Michelle Forsyth is there, and Anthea Rello has to settle for third this morning. Nice to see you guys. We await the arrival of the rest of the gang. Let's take a look, see what's going on this morning. A lot of activity this morning, man. You're going to see, I think, 3 videos in addition to your friends from the GIS with a national report. Hello. I see John says what? Hold on a minute, hold on. Echoing, George? Who's echoing? Am I? I'm not echoing here. Everything looks hunky-dory so far. Anyhow, so John is there. Peter Belfon is saying it's raining and call it, George. Yeah, Peter. It's been raining down here this morning as well. Peter Bishop's there this morning, and so is Fitzroy Adams, Osmond Lewis. Osmond. Hello, Nesta. How you doing, girl? I was back at BB's yesterday afternoon. Would you believe that? Yeah, man. Just me this time. Just me. I think it's the first time I've gone there alone. Nice place. Arthur Langine is wishing everybody a happy Wednesday. And John says, what a difference a day makes. It's sunny up here with some scattered thin cloud. Okay, Claude Butner is sending God's blessings to everybody. And Benedict Cador, wonderful Wednesday, Benedict. Nice to see you guys. Bernard Gilbert, Margaret Francis, Joe. Hey, Margaret says, George, you're echoing. I'm echoing. Why am I echoing? Let's see. Let's hope the echoing is gone now. Anyhow, so let's take a look, see what's cooking here this morning. First of all, we're going to take a look at an electric car. This is, by the way, Education Wednesday. I guess you can call it that. So much for Wonderful Wednesday, Benedict. Yeah, an electric car that you don't need to recharge. Can you believe that? We have a couple on the island, but this one you ain't seen yet. The ones we have on the island are cars that you do have to recharge. I know that in addition to Grenada, I think they have 2 or 3 vehicles. And they gave me the pleasure and honor of driving one of those vehicles a couple of years ago. But there are a few other people who own them. And in the coming years, my dear friends, you ain't gonna have to pull up to a gas station and plunk out your hard-earned dollars. No. This is a short piece we're going to show you in just a wee bit. Then, we turn to the Fortune 500 list. America is no longer the leader. Yeah, man. Times are changing. When you talk about the 500 list, the Fortune 500 list, America has been up there as far as the number of companies in the world to make that list. But no more. No more, and you can check that out on the website. I did last time. The third video we're going to show to you is something that came to me yesterday from the Grenada Tourism Authority. They have just launched something called Something for Everyone. It's a new campaign, and it's aimed at people in the other islands. I discovered that about 18% of the people who came to Grenada between January and August of this year were people from other Caribbean islands. More about that in a wee bit. The national report from the GIS is with us this morning, and so is Lady Sherron. But guess what? Lady Sherron is not going to be sitting here this morning because she's actually there. She's in Florida, back with her brother in Florida, and she's going to be joining us a wee bit later, maybe at the bottom of the hour or thereabouts. Okay? So, let's get down to the work at hand. Can you imagine an electric car that you won't have to recharge? Why? Because it runs on energy created by radio frequencies. Well, one has been created by an African, and guess what? This man dropped out of school when he was only 14 years old. So, don't think you're not good enough to do this or not good enough to do that. But in this little piece that I'm going to show to you, I want you to see some of the challenges that this man has had to deal with. And I'm sure he'll have a lot more to deal with. Here goes.
A brief trip into the future with inventor Maxwell Chikumbutso. He's claiming a scientific breakthrough with this green energy technology, an electric car which he says converts radio frequencies into energy.
At the powertrain, we did it in-house, which makes it the first electric vehicle in the world that drives without needing recharging systems. On the Greener Power Off-Grid machine, it's very unique. For the first time, energy is being generated using a radio frequency and without moving paths.
Chikumbutso is not the typical scientist. He dropped out of school aged 14 and says he's developed his blueprints through research and visions from God. A showroom in Harare showcases his prototypes. A helicopter that operates using any one of the 5 fuels, including paraffin, a drone and a household transformer that he says can multiply power 100-fold. But he says breaking his disruptive technology into the world has not been easy. He's failed to patent his work.
That's why we end up finding nuclear scientists, electromagnetic professors, so that they can assist us on the patent process. But as you are aware that in patents, anything that violates the laws of physics is not an industrial applicable solution. They classify it as a perpetual motion device.
Luigi Kupenala, a South African-based Angolan businessman, has poured millions into the project, but now believes it's time to commercialize. He says the Angolan government and a Brazil private energy player have signed up to buy some of their products, but that other investors don't generally believe anything credible can come out of Africa.
We just sell from our skin color. We don't believe on ourselves. But obviously, a new generation has another responsibility to change this kind of paradigm to another level, whereby we have to capitalize on our abilities in Africa.
Zimbabwean scientists who spoke to the SABC also expressed skepticism, but Chikumbutso brushes the naysayers aside. He says he's determined to ensure that his God-given gift brings energy to light up the continent and put Zimbabwe on the technological map. Shingai Nyoka, SABC News, Harare, Zimbabwe.
Well, there you have it. By the way, Peter Belfont watching this, and Peter says, I saw this and there were attempts to delay his invention. I am not sure the attempt was to delay, well, yeah, I guess you can say that. What they're trying to do is, avoid giving him a patent, because that's where the moolah, the money, lies. And I wouldn't be surprised somewhere along the line you'll see some other major corporation come up with something virtually identical to what he has and claim that they were the creators, the inventors, the developers, what have you. Oh boy, it's so sad, it's so sad. And then John says, the new Tesla Model S, now the quickest production car, goes from 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. Eh? John, can you imagine how quickly you'll be able to get from Carriacou to here? Oh, by the way, John, I was at BB's yesterday. Brian's gone again. He went to England a couple of days ago. John also goes to say, to fuel a hydrogen car from water, electricity is used to generate hydrogen by electrolysis. The resulting hydrogen is an energy carrier that can power a car by reacting with oxygen from the air to create water. Either though burning in a combustion engine or catalyzed to produce electricity in a fuel cell. Say what, John? I wish I had time to read that over a couple of times, but we don't this morning. Anyway, so that's about the electric car. Now, times, my dear friends, they are a-changin'. We're living in a totally different world, one which the media is often reluctant to tell you about. The facts are, they're right there for everyone to see. Which country, I beg your pardon, has the most companies on the Fortune 500 list? And what about the banks? Folks, this little video gonna surprise you. Well, maybe not everybody, but it's gonna surprise a lot of you who think the United States is still the big gun it once was. Check this out.
Yesterday, the Fortune 500 global list came out, and for the first time ever, the United States of America did not have the largest number of companies in it. We have been officially taken over by, you guessed it, China. Of the top 500 top companies in the world, 129 of them are now Chinese, while the US has 121 companies in the Fortune 500 global list. Just 20 years ago, China had only 8 companies in the Fortune 500, back in 1999. What a surge. But wait, there is even more. There is another list I want to talk about. While our president and our politicians and our media, they are constantly telling us how we are number one across the board on everything, including banking. But that is not true anymore. Here is the list of the top 10 largest banks in the entire world. Number 1, the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, ICBC. Number 2, China Construction Bank Corporation. Number 3 is also a Chinese bank, the Agricultural Bank of China. Number 4 is also Chinese, Bank of China Limited. Number 5 is a British bank, HSBC Holdings. Number 6, this is where finally a US bank shows up on the list, which is JP Morgan Chase, while 20 years ago the top 8 in the list used to be all American banks. Number 7, we find a French bank, BNP Paribas. Number 8 is Mitsubishi, which is Japanese. Number 9, Bank of America, and finally in number 10, we have the French bank Crédit Agricole. So as you can see, this is how really the world is changing economically, even if the mainstream media does not seem to want to talk about it. Today America has only 2 banks among the top 10 largest banks in the world. That list is predominantly Chinese. Trump's greatest economy ever is not that great after all. Despite him constantly bragging and tweeting about it, we need to tell the truth to the American public. I'm sure future generations will look fondly back at this greatest economy ever that will be directly responsible for driving them into permanent generational slavery. This was the Atlantis Report. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
There you have it. Like I said, times, they are changing. Things ain't the way they used to be when you and I were kids. New world order? Call it what you will. Just going back to the previous piece we did a little while ago, I read a piece from John a little while ago, and he's just explained here in one sentence what he was trying to say. He says, water will drive a car. In other words, that's what he was trying to say. Water will drive a car. Well, John, do you know that there is a pending shortage of water in the world? Even though so much of this world is made up of oceans. Check it out. Check it out. And he also makes a point here. He says that the petrol companies will buy up this man's patent and shelve it. You said it a lot better than I did a little while ago, but that's exactly where I was going. He says here, HSBC is a Hong Kong banking conglomerate not British. We'll try and get that message out to the people who put out that video. But you go check it out. I noticed that the order of things on that video was a little bit different from what I found on the website. So you go check out the top 10 Fortune 500 companies. Check that out on the website. You'll see that there's some minor discrepancies in the listings. Peter Belfont says, the notion that nothing credible comes from Africa is a ploy, mainly by the West, to discredit the capabilities of the African continent, and of course, the black race, singled out for racist intentions. Michelle Forsyth says, thanks for these 2 articles. While we are fed a constant diet of tump, while we are fed a constant diet of tump, either for or against, there are other important things going on in the world. Michelle, ain't that the truth? But some people prefer the Brango. Take a look at the numbers of you who watch this program. Take a look at the number of people who watch the other scandal sheets out there on social media. They're not interested in what you and I have to talk about. That's why I decided to try and do something a little bit different. Yes, I'm not going to ignore a lot of the nonsense that's going on in this place. You can't. You really can't. However, there is more to life than politics, and I'll keep saying that to the grave. Now, one more thing I want to show you, and this is a little piece that it's about a minute and a half long. Came into me yesterday. During the months of January 2019 to August of this year, visitors from neighboring Caribbean islands accounted for 18% of the market share for Grenada's tourist arrivals. In an effort to continue to promote pure Grenada's tourism offerings throughout the region, the Grenada Tourism Authority has launched the Something for Everyone campaign as the destination's first exclusive regional multi-platform campaign. The initiative will showcase the diverse experiences neighboring travelers can enjoy in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Beautiful little video, I mean beautiful, and you have to give credit where credit is due. Take a look at this. Come on, folks, despite everything else, this is a beautiful, God-blessed island. We are fortunate. See that? All right. Let me take a little break here now, 20 minutes after the hour, quick break here, and then we'll come back with the National Report.
Because your vehicle is a necessity, being roadworthy is critical. Hubbard's Motor Department introduces its new tire and battery sales and service outlet located at Building Supplies Compound in Grandans, close to the Sugar Mill Roundabout. Available are a wide range of competitively priced tires, maintenance-free batteries, oils and lubricants. Keeping in mind your busy schedule, this outlet is equipped to provide you with fast and reliable service. Simply drive in and you'll be delighted with your service experience. For more information, contact 440-2087. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have core banking in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank, and there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
You don't know how many hurricanes will be coming this season, so you need to be prepared. At Hubbard's Hardware and Building Supply Departments and Food Fair Supermarkets, everything from canned foods, flashlights and batteries, to plywood, tarpaulin, lanterns, roof repair kits, water tanks, etc. are available. For over 90 years, we've helped you prepare for and recover from storms. Hubbard's Hardware, Food Fair Supermarkets, and the Grenadian General Insurance, an integral part of your hurricane preparedness plan.
Hey, what? I just came from the land and this sign here caught my eye. What's that sign about?
Someone must have asked Grenlec to move a pole. But you know, there's no space reserved on the side of the road for planting poles. So Grenlec has to get permission from landowners, and that can take a lot of time.
Oh. Grenlec asked me to help them contact my neighbor Ben about planting a pole on his land. But Ben passed away. His children own the land, but they all live abroad.
That's why Grenlec needs customers to inform them in writing at least 3 months in advance.
3 months? All that?
It seems like a lot, but think about the time it will take for Grenlec to find and get permission from all of Ben's children. And sometimes moving one pole requires you to move the pole before, the one after, plus the wires that support them on the ground. That means even more landowners to find and get permission from. Then Grenlec needs to schedule their teams and notify customers about any power outages.
Well, I need the pole on the farm moved, so I'm going to write Grenlec a letter now.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Government and unions wage talks stall in the face of unrealistic demands. We'll have details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Tuesday, October 8th, I am Keisha St. Louis. Salary talks between the government negotiating team and the joint negotiating union team of Public Workers Union and the Technical and Allied Workers Union became stalled and deadlocked at the third session, which took place on Tuesday, October 8th, 2019. The unions are insisting on a near 25% increase in pay without providing a shred of written justification for their demands. Those demands would increase the government's expenditure on salaries by more than $90 million over the next 3-year contract cycle. The demand is highly unrealistic and far exceeds any such payment of salary increases locally and in the region, including lucrative businesses in banking and other areas of the private sector, with which TAU and other unions have signed. During the last contract cycle, workers received increases every year during 2017 to 2019, amounting to 10% compounded increase over the period. The union's current demand, amounting to 150% of the previous settlement, is unsustainable and unprecedented.
This morning, the government negotiating team met with the joint team of PW and TAU to continue the third round of negotiations. The meeting lasted for approximately 2 hours. However, there was no movement on the part of the union to the demand for $90.5 million over a 3-year period for the workers, which accounted to 25%, the request of 25% for 3 years at $90.5 million. The government offered $26.5 million. The negotiations was declared deadlock since there was no movement from the original position of the union. The next stage is that of the Labour Commissioner. The matter will be referred to the Labour Commissioner for mediation.
Head of the government negotiating team, Honorable Oliver Joseph. The union's demand for a near 25% increase in pay will overturn all the sacrifices made by the country to achieve fiscal stability and economic growth. Millions of dollars in grants and concessionary loans currently secured by Grenada would also be extinguished. Programs of house repair and training programs for youth and labor assistance to farmers would have to be cut, and this would also significantly reduce the assistance government provides to homes for the elderly, and any wage increase which would go to the workers there. Since June, the government negotiating team circulated to the unions its policy guidelines for salary increases, which emphasized that salary negotiations must be fact-based and within the fiscal responsibility law. In an earlier letter to the unions, the team warned that this unrealistic demand raises the question of good faith collective bargaining. It also counseled that one ought not to come to the table with demands which are financially impossible for an employer to meet. The negotiating team proposes an increase to public officers of $26.5 million as part of an overall package where the state has already made additions to the restoration of pensions to appointed qualifying public officers. On the issue of fringe benefits, which is yet another expense for the state, the negotiating team pointed out that the upcoming comprehensive job evaluation, carded to commence soon, would see further increases in the salary of public officers, in addition to the negotiated increases. Therefore, increases to and additional fringe benefits negotiations cannot be entertained before the job evaluation exercise. In effect, public officers will receive 3 streams of increases in 2020. Continuing with the news, Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell on Tuesday welcomed the new British Resident Commissioner, Wendy Freeman. British High Commissioner based in Barbados, Ms. Janet Douglas, introduced the new Resident Commissioner, giving assurances that the United Kingdom remained committed to its relationship with Grenada and other Caribbean countries. Dr. Mitchell, in welcoming Ms. Freeman and the re-establishment of a local office, said, and I quote, "It is good that we have a local representative. This is a positive sign for relations between Grenada and the UK, and I hope it continues to move in that positive direction," unquote. Graciously accepting the welcome, the British diplomat said, and I quote, "The creation of this position is part of the deepening and strengthening of the bond that already exists. I will do my part in identifying ways to take this relationship forward," unquote. During the introductory meeting, the Prime Minister underscored the importance of the long-standing relationship with the British, particularly in the areas of intelligence work and cybersecurity. He expressed the desire to see UK increase its level of involvement in the region. This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
Grenada, it's coming as the Ministry of Youth, Development, Sports, Culture and the Arts brings to you National Youth Week 2019, and it's one full week of activities, vibes and action as the nation turns their attention on the nation's youth. And it's from Saturday, October 19th till Saturday, November 2nd under the theme Embracing Opportunities, Sowing Higher. October 19th and 20th, National Community Service Weekend, island-wide. October 26th, Health Walk and Minister's Address. October 27th, Ecumenical Service and Peace Concerts. October 28th, Youth Vibe. October 29th, St. John's Youth Parliament. October 30th, Job Fair and Career Day. October 31st, Fun Nights. November 1st, Discovering Talents and Expo. And on November 2nd, it's National Youth Awards. So urging everyone to be a part of Youth Week 2019, October 19th to November 2nd.
Welcome back. Plans are underway to recognize Grenada's second World Athletic Champion, Anderson Peters. The island is still in celebratory mood following Sunday's gold-winning performance in the men's javelin at the IAAF World Athletics Championship in Doha. Sports Minister Senator Norland Cox announced on Tuesday during the government's weekly post-cabinet briefing that plans are in the pipeline for Anderson's return in December.
The cabinet took a decision, and because of the significance of this victory, that we are going to have some celebration for Anderson when he comes home in Grenada early December. We believe that within the first 2 weeks in December sometime he will be coming home, and so we are planning a grand welcome ceremony, and we invite the nation to join us, and so more developments regarding this celebration will be forthcoming, but we want to give notice in that regard.
There are concerns that government can do more to reward the athlete. However, according to Minister Cox, while Grenada may want to go all out to recognize Peters, the rules of the National Collegiate Athletic Association prevents any country from providing tangible support to athletes.
The challenge that we have, or the issue that is before us, we cannot, as government of Grenada, is not in any way positioned to provide any tangible support to Anderson at this time, because he's in school and a part of the NCAA rules and regulations. He ought not to be receiving any tangible benefits for performances in games like this. And so he is well aware of that and the importance of him retaining his scholarship and successfully concluding next year. I think that will be very good news for us, and he's working hard towards that.
Finally, in the news, the Grenada Tourism Authority has launched a regional campaign designed to ensure that Grenada remains a recognized tourist destination. The campaign, titled Something for Everyone, also included the launch of a promotional video by the same name and plans for the Festival of Lights 2019. Something for Everyone consists of 5 focal points. Marketing Executive Shani St. Bernard spoke of the intention of the campaign.
Something for Everyone will focus on our top 5 niches in Grenada, which is romance, culinary, soft adventure, leisure, and sailing experiences. So this campaign would highlight each one of those niches, and we're going to have video and everything like that to help promote it. And of course, getting to Grenada is much easier and convenient these days through our regional airlift partners, Caribbean Airlines as well as LIATS. And we're also happy to announce that the GTA is going to be bringing down a Caribbean fam consisting of Trinidadians and Barbadians later on this month to help experience something for everyone in Grenada.
Festival of the Lights is scheduled to be on December 5th and 6th. The event includes lights on the waters of the Carenage from Buns Point.
The concept would be on the first night, which is on the 6th, we will have a dinghy concert. In the water, we have engaged the yachts. We are hoping that they also would light up. We have had meetings with the business community here. We want them to light up. It's going to be solar lights that will last for a very long time. We feel that it is necessary as we try to promote the Carenage. We all have heard about the Carenage and how it's so beautiful. We want to bring life back to the Carenage.
That was Chairman of the Grenada Tourism Authority, Brenda Hood. That story just brought the curtains down on the national report for today, Tuesday, October 8th. Let's recap the top story. Government and the unions' wage talks stall in the face of unrealistic demands. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
Alrighty, folks, there you have it. That's last night's edition of the National Report. Now, I'm not at all surprised that there was quite a bit of activity on social media while you were watching that. First of all, John says, read the salary negotiations. Total misrepresentation by Mr. Joseph. Does he think we're all dumb? And I gotta say something about this. I still haven't published that article. Up to last night, I had been trying to reach the unions to get their side of the story. And I'm a little bit disappointed in them that, you know, these discussions, negotiations were underway and they've not come out and said anything. Well, they did promise me that today a statement will be issued. We'll try and get that to you as soon as we can. Samantha McFarland says, what happened to teachers' salaries they took last year? And their pension and gratuity, did they get it? Samantha? Michelle Forsythe says, did Arthur Langine stay on today? Arthur usually takes off when the National Report comes on. John says, Samantha, the short answer is no. Samantha also says, they cannot increase teachers' salaries. The kids are the future of the world. Absolutely. It's a matter of where your priorities lay, Samantha. Bottom line. Susan Peters, I'm assuming Susan's a teacher, she says, didn't receive a cent. Then we move on to Anderson Peters. And John says, Digicel should do an advert with him. He also says, no mention of diving. And by the way, folks, you noticed when they were talking about Anderson Peters there a little while ago, your screen went black. The reason why I had to do that is because I'm sure that if you're one of our YouTube subscribers, if you take a look at our YouTube channel, you'll notice that yesterday's program is not up there. It's on Facebook, it's on GRENADABROADCAST.com, but it's not on YouTube. The reason being, excerpts of Anderson Peters were run, and apparently those clips belong to the IAAF, okay? So as a result, they just blanked it. So that's why I blanked the Anderson Peters in the GIS report this morning, okay? Hopefully this program is going to be up on YouTube today. Jeannie Pascal is also saying good morning, and I want you to take a quick look. There she is, very pensive looking, but there she is. She's all saddled up and ready to go. And in just a wee bit, we're going to be saying good morning to Sherron. Hang on there.
GRENADA Community Partnership Initiative, supporting health.
To the individuals who will be using these vehicles to serve the people, please ensure while we are using these tools that we use these tools in a manner that we will all be proud of. To GRENADA, a long-standing partner with us, a true testament of what can happen when private and public sector work together for the benefit of the people.
GRENADA, energizing our community.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Can I have a chicken lunch, please? Large.
Real nice today.
I don't want that.
But you just asked for a chicken lunch.
I don't have problem with the lunch. Afraid the container.
What is the problem with it?
These styrofoam containers, they don't good for the environment. They shorten with life.
What foolishness you telling me? So what you want me to use?
Put my food in this. Where you get that? At the food fair, where you could get all biodegradable food boxes and disposable food supplies like cups, plates, anything you could think about. Name it, it's there. And they don't harm the environment. Food fair, taking the lead in cleaning up and protecting the environment. Hey, like you take me advice, you get in your biodegradable food supplies.
Well, girl, I supporting who's supporting the environment. That is why I shop in at food fair.
Food fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets. Products distributed by Hubbard's agency, Kirani James Boulevard.
Alrighty, folks, here we go. There she is. But before I say good morning to Sherron, a couple of things. First of all, Margaret says here, that's correct. She's talking about the fact that I told you a little story about the YouTube blocking yesterday's program. She says that's correct. You have to get permission to use people's work. I notice media in the Caribbean use video and photos without permission and don't even give credit. True. Now, yesterday, I also showed you folks the collection of mugs we have here. We showed you the Dilligaf mug. We showed you the Gudday mug. We showed you the Moni mug. Well, this morning, take a look. I hope you guys can see this. There it is. Stop the Press mug. That's the latest from John. Thank you very much, John. I bet Beverly just can't wait to get, she doesn't know yet. I hope she's watching this morning. I think she came back to Grenada yesterday or last night. She will have one of these. John sent 2 of these to me last night, so yesterday. Thank you. Fitzroy Adams says, George, it's time that the union stop playing around with this NNP government. The power is in their hands. Time to use it. The working class are the ones who have Grenada going. Okay. Sherron? Sherron? I'm not hearing you, Sherron. What, go girl? I'm not hearing Sherron. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. All this fancy stuff decided to act up on us this morning. Where is Sherron? Not hearing Sherron. Huh. Not hearing Sherron. Hang in there, hang in there. We're going to play around. We don't give up easily. Hello, Sherron. Not hearing Sherron. Let's check. Yep, that's all paired. So why aren't we hearing her this morning? Sherron. Yes, sir. Gremlins are at work this morning. I was talking to Sherron just a few minutes ago. But for some reason, she has mysteriously disappeared. So let's try something else. How about now, Sherron? Okay, Sherron's still loaded. She's still loaded. Let me try this one. Oh, there she is. Hello?
Gotcha.
We got her. Okay. Good morning, Ms. Wiltshire.
Good morning, George and everybody else.
How are you doing?
Now, the first thing I want to say is I would like to extend my sympathies to the family of Trevor Friday. You lost me?
No, I'm hearing you.
Okay. Yeah, to extend my sympathies to the family of Dr. Trevor Friday. Trevor was the godfather of my number 4 son, and so this one hit home really, really hard. And as everybody knows, he was one of the most wonderful people.
Just a nice person to be around.
His favorite phrase used to be, don't panic, and I call him or take the kids to see him. The first thing he says, don't panic.
May his soul rest in peace, girl.
Yeah. Now about the unions. Unions again. But I'm sure they realize that this thing about fiscal responsibility only kicks in when they have to pay out money to people who working hard for their money. But I just want to, I look into my little crystal ball, and it tells me that in 2022, all will be well.
What does that mean?
That people will start to get a little money in 2022. You forget that is within the year election coming up. So maybe they have to wait a little bit. Because that is the way it happened. And then they get the little money and they forget and they vote them right back in.
Do they forget, or is it that they just can't help it? There are people who are blind allegiance to a party, regardless of what happens.
Well, I don't know what it is, but if they're really honest and care for the country at heart, that wouldn't happen. Because and everybody out there know that there was a time when I supported NNP, but never blindly. You look and the fact that they do something wrong, you say it. I love my brothers dearly, but if one of them do something wrong, I would tell them.
Yeah.
Because you have to stand for what is right. So I don't understand what's happening to our people. I don't understand.
Well, it's I think it's gotten to the time where we need to snap out of it, Sherron. We can't continue this way indefinitely.
Definitely.
So you're back in Florida today, eh?
I'm in Florida today. I will be here next week as well, and then the following week I'll be back home.
And then we
all goes well. Fingers crossed.
And then we can start hitting the beach again.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we've been having quite a bit of rain early in the morning, so it's no big loss, quite frankly. Really no big loss.
Yeah. So one of the things that I was responsible for during my time with the U.S. Embassy, we had to do a report called Trafficking in Persons Report. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but in this morning, the big news that broke out of Trinidad, they found there's this church called Transforming Lives Ministry in Aruca that the police raided at midnight last night. And of course, the media was on it this morning at 5:30 in Trinidad, where they found 69 people held as slaves, 65 men and 4 women.
Yeah.
Handcuffed and chained in this church in Aruca. They say when your neighbor house on fire, you remember what you do to yours?
Yeah.
The wet years. All these jump up people that start in churches all over Grenada now, you look, something ministry. Church is a money-making thing these days.
Thank you.
You know? You want to buy a big car or you want to buy a house, you start a church.
Yeah.
Eh? This thing about tithes, you're paying tithes. I'm not saying they're wrong, but these days, them ministries, as they call themselves, what are they asking you for? I want to build a house, so I need 10 sacks of cement. I need this. And the people, what they're doing, they need it for themselves, you know. But they go in and they're doing it, and you see the minister now living in a big house and driving car and going for vacation 3-4 times a year. And you catching your nene to send your children to school.
I'm still tumbling right on the side of the road.
All of that.
Yeah.
All of that.
You know, even when you look at the television ministries nowadays, you know, it seems like they can hardly say 2 words without asking for money. And I see, you know, nowadays they don't ask you to just send. They tell you send $1,000 and make it a monthly pledge. And some of these people want to buy $30 million airplanes, you know, just to fly the preachers around.
All of that. My birthday coming up. I want 10 sacks of cement and 100 blocks.
Yeah.
And the people giving them, you know.
Obviously, that's how they stay on the air.
That is how they think they're buying their way to heaven.
Yeah, man.
But what they don't realize is that your heart, when you have a clean heart and you do the best you can for your fellow man, you don't have to go and sit down in no church.
Yeah.
You go to church when you want community and you feel you want an uplift and something. I don't feel I have to run to church every Sunday for what?
Yeah.
You know?
Tithe.
I remember somebody telling me once when I worked at Good News FM, they promised that Mr. Webb was the owner of the station, and he always talked about tithes. But you know, when if you have a contract to pay a person a certain salary and you're not paying them, you don't expect them what do you expect them to take to pay the tithes? And a very wise woman once told me, Joan Purcell, tithes is more than just giving money.
Absolutely.
What you do for your fellow man, that's considered tithes.
Yeah.
You know? So, take note of what's happening in Trinidad. You know already when Trinidad sneeze, Grenada catching cold.
You know, what you're saying there is so true. I'm hoping that people will take note, especially the people who run these churches. I don't know if you noticed, Sherron, but in recent weeks, I'm seeing a lot of videos on social media condemning the churches for either remaining silent or not doing what they're supposed to do, and this and that and the other. And then you hear stories like the one this morning where this pastor is involved in this trafficking thing in Trinidad. A lot of stuff going on in those churches. And I mean, once upon a time, the church was a place you went to, you wanted an escape. You can't go there anymore.
No.
Jeez.
The days of going into a church because you need a quiet place, you know, I recommend that you stay in your bedroom or in your bathroom for your quiet place, because you may go into one of these churches for a quiet place and you may never get out.
Yeah. Hazel Ferguson says here, Sherron, church is one of the biggest money-making businesses today. Mm-hmm. People need to emancipate themselves.
Exactly. And that brings to mind Bob Marley's song, right? Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, because that's where a lot of us are right now, mental slavery.
Yeah. Can you imagine all the things that are going on in this place? And we have something called a conference of churches and you're not hearing a beep from them?
Well, I don't know. Something must be wrong somewhere.
Well,
They still exist. I mean,
yeah. Well, on paper. John Nosyneck here says, don't even mention Scientology.
well, I don't even understand what that one is anyway.
Michelle Forsyth says, Sherron, all these warnings seem to fall on deaf ears, unfortunately. People get caught up for various reasons. Fear is a huge factor and wanting to be a part of the hype.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Peter Belfont says, oh yes, next door neighbor is so sad. Tithes is a biblical principle, but there are other areas where the membership is being abused financially in the form of pledges, offerings, and love gifts. One has to be careful, though, when speaking of requirements of God towards men. George, the love of money, that is the root of all evil.
That's right.
Not money that is the root of evil. It's the love of money.
That's right. And a lot of times people tend to forget that part.
Yeah.
They look at money is the root of all evil. Is the love of money. Because if you love it too much, I mean, all of us need money. Eh? We need money to do everything that we do.
Yeah.
Because that is what it has become. There was a time when they have the barter system, you do this for me and I do that for you. And it exists to an extent still, but it's the love of money. When you give your soul for money,
Yeah.
you know, that is the root of all evil.
I think Benedict Cador sums it up here. He says, I think they believe that they can buy their way into heaven.
Exactly.
That is the message preached by pastors.
And you see, to an extent, they're fooling the people who, I wouldn't say us, I was about to say they're fooling us because none of them can fool me. But one of the things that they make you think, you may do something and have something on your conscience. And they would tell you, if you don't come and pray and ask God to forgive you and give us a little money, we're going to pray for you. Hello? You could pray for yourself.
Yeah.
You can ask God forgiveness for yourself. Yeah? And it's hard to believe that I'm a Catholic. I am. But it's not, as everything else in my life, it is not everything they say is true. And it's not everything they say is correct. Not in my book.
Yeah.
So you live your life good. Do what you can for your fellow man. You see somebody fall along the way, and if you really think you could help. But I don't go foolish with it. If I'm trying to help somebody and you're not helping yourself and you're trying to take advantage of me, cut.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Sherron, thank you, my dear. 10 o'clock. And I don't want to keep these people back from all the things they have to do. So you're going to be up there in Florida again next week, and we're going to be talking with you online, right?
Yes, I'm not sure which part of Florida it will be next week, but I'll be here.
Keep saying, girl, when I grow up, I want to be like you. You and your husband, you know, the reason why I say I want to be like you is because I really used to enjoy traveling, hey? I don't anymore because traveling to a large extent has become a hassle. And last night I was watching a video on social media of your dear husband. A few weeks ago we showed him dancing his little heart out when you guys were in England for, was it World Cup or whatever it was?
Well, World Cup and a Reiki Master Gathering.
Right. And then last night I see another one that you put up there, and boy, can this guy shake a leg. This guy is 82 years old.
Right.
And he will put me to shame. I could never dance never in my life have I been able to dance like that. And he seems to enjoy doing it.
Not only that, he has more energy than me, that's for sure.
Okay, my dear.
Run up Market Hill.
Pardon me?
You should see when he runs up Market Hill.
Yeah, and then there you go. I wouldn't even think of walking up Market Hill. I'll do that. I'll try it at night, but to walk up Market Hill in the daytime, nah, I can't take on that. I can't take on that. Anyhow, Sherron, just before you go, I see some more comments here. Peter Belfont says, blind followers of the church, blind followers in politics, and blind leaders in the home make make 3 blind mice. All right, Peter. All right. Benedict Cador says, and I think the Catholics are still the lesser of all evils. Okay, Benedict. And finally, Kipling Francis says, the people are told the more they give, the more they will receive.
I think what one of the things is that Catholics are more liberated to an extent that they give you a lot of leeway, and they're not down on you for this tithe thing, and they no longer tell you that you're going to hell and burn in hellfire and all that, which is what a lot of the other churches are preaching. And I feel sorry for Grenada, because a lot of the people who call themselves pastors, who you should look to for guidance, those are the ones doing a lot of crap.
A lot.
You know? You have a minister in the ministry within the ministries in Grenada. You have an example. They said, when people show you and tell you who they are, believe them.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you and blessings to all of you out there.
Thank you so much, Sherron.
Okay, dear.
You have a good day.
In our part of the world, we need to be prepared for natural disasters like storms and hurricanes, even outside of the season. I'm sure you'll agree that keeping our loved ones, homes, and businesses safe is important. So, I came up with a few quick tips to help you stay safe. First, make a family disaster plan and ensure that everyone in your household is familiar and comfortable with it. Remember to add batteries and flashlights to your emergency kit. Now, for electrical safety. Familiarize yourself with your electrical panel, as it may be necessary to switch off the power during a storm or flood. Make sure you install a transfer or isolation switch to prevent your generator feeding electricity to Grenlec's line. If trees are too close to power lines, call Grenlec at 237 for advice. By following these easy steps, you will be well on your way to being hurricane ready. Don't be caught off guard by natural disasters. Prepare now. For more information, visit grenlec.com.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Alrighty, folks, 4 minutes after the hour, parting word from the Holy Scriptures today, 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verses 5 to 10. All of this is evidence that God's judgment is right, and as a result, you will be counted worthy of the kingdom of God, for which you are suffering. God is just. He will pay back trouble to those who trouble you and give you relief, those of you who are troubled, and to us as well. This will happen when the Lord Jesus is revealed from heaven in blazing fire with his powerful angels. He will punish those who do not know God and do not obey the gospel of our Lord Jesus. They will be punished with everlasting destruction and shut out from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his might on that day when he comes to be glorified in his holy people and to be marveled at among those who have believed. This includes you, because you believed our testimony to you. 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verses 5 to 10. Okay, let me see here. Margaret says, comparatively, all religions have the same level of corruption. So Catholics may go easy on the money today, but get a chastity belt for your children. Okay, Max. Michelle Forsyth says, not heard that ever in my life as a Catholic, Margaret. Yes, we have our evils, but they are different. Okay. Georgie Gudday. All right. Pilgrims, I'm going to pull the plug here now and say thank you so much for joining us for the midweek edition of Gudday Grenada. You have a wonderful day in this beautiful world which God created. By His grace, see you tomorrow morning. God bless you.